Hello, welcome to Model Kit Stuff. My name is Jason. We have hit December, which means this is the last catch-up of 2022. Hello and welcome to the December 2022 catch-up. If you're one of my new subscribers, then my name is Jason, and what we do in a catch-up video once a month is just round up what happened during the course of the last month and then talk about what's coming up in the month ahead. We might talk about some news, we might give some other channels a bit of a shout out. And actually, it feels like we've got quite a bit to get through, so let's get stuck in. So let's start off with a massive thank you to all of you subscribers out there that subscribe to the channel, continue to subscribe to the channel, and a big welcome to those of you who have subscribed to the channel over the last month since we did the last catch-up video. We've had a busy old month in November, and one way or another that has drawn more people to the channel. So certain videos that have gone well have been around the newly released 124 Spitfire and the visit to Telford, and so there's been loads going on, and when you guys put a thumbs up on one of my videos or put a comment on one of my videos, it triggers the algorithm to put that video into the stream of other people who watch similar sorts of videos. So all of you subscribers that have taken the time to make a comment, to watch the video, to join the live stream on a Saturday, to put a thumbs up on, a big thank you, because you're helping share my content with other people who might be interested but just aren't aware I'm here. So it's a massive thanks from me to you guys for what has been another successful year for Model Kit Stuff. That's right. In November, Model Kit Stuff became 2 years old. So I didn't make a big hoo-ha about it at the time when we hit the actual date, the 9th of November. I wasn't going, right, okay, it's our birthday, let's celebrate. The reason being, it was I'd have to create something, and let's choose a model or whatever. And I'm at that point where I'm going, actually, I've got enough on my plate without adding to it. But it is a milestone. 2 years in, it's been a very successful 2 years for me, for the channel, and the most important thing is it's brought a lot of joy to me doing this. I've really enjoyed doing this, and now I share my hobby with more people than I've ever done before. It clearly brings joy to other people, and it's December, we should be talking about joy, which there's not been a lot of in 2022 one way or another. So that's why this hobby is important, because it's an escape from the world around us. And when you're focused on building that bit of track link, or getting the paint on your aircraft right, or putting the decals down without silvering, when you're totally focused and immersed in your hobby, everything else goes away for a bit. And that's one of the reasons why this hobby is such a powerful hobby. It's great for our mental health, it's great for our physical health, and it's an all-round good, literally constructive hobby. So this year has been an absolute joy. It's been nice to see the channel grow. It's been nice to see more people coming along and sharing in what I do. I have new regulars this year. There are people that want to comment on many of the videos. So that's been great to see, and a massive thank you to all of you people that regularly come back and regularly comment on the videos. It's massively appreciated. Okay, so let's talk about November. Okay, so November kicked off with a first impressions video of the Artesina Latina, possibly not pronouncing that correctly, wooden kit of the Independence. It's a big, huge box, rammed full of different parts. So when you look at the part list, it's pages and pages long, and you think, wow. What I've been trying to do with the wooden first impressions is give you impressions of different manufacturers, so that you can understand the different approaches, and the different quality of materials and castings, and what separates them apart. And you know, depending on what's important to you when you're building a wooden model depends on which kit brand you're going to end up preferring. And I will often recommend an Artesina Latina kit for people just starting out in the hobby, simply because the instructions are so well put together and easy to follow. I'd also say that would be the same of Caldercraft, although Caldercraft perhaps makes some assumptions that you've made a model before in their instructions, particularly on some of their other kits. So if you buy the Mary Rose kit, which we've reviewed on this channel, there's an assumption that you know what you're doing, and the instructions are there to guide you through the bits that are particular to that model. Whereas if you bought their Pickle kit, it talks to you a bit more at length about what you need to be doing plank by plank as you go through it. So it depends on the skill level of the kit you're buying, I guess. So with Artesina Latina, what you're getting is you're getting a balance of good instructions and good quality materials. Where you are losing out a little bit is in accuracy. So they have a lot of stock parts that are plastic or metal, and they will put those in, and they'll be common on many of their models, which means you're not getting something that's historically accurate, but you are getting something that looks really eye-catching and is possibly easier to build than others. So with that in mind, we will be reviewing another wooden model ship in December, and we'll talk a little bit about that in a moment, but I'm just framing and setting the scene because we've not looked at this brand before. So that was quite a popular video. I thought it was a very nice kit. One or two areas that I would like to have seen better: the big stern galleries, a single casting, and although it looks better in real life than it does even on the box art, I think painting it up and stuff will just make it pop out a little bit better. But depends on how you want to build it, of course, personal preference. Not the nicest kit that we've reviewed, but also I've got to say it's a really nicely presented model and at a decent scale. So my main build through November has been the newly released Avro Anson 1/48 scale from Airfix. And in October we actually started that build, and we've carried it on through November. At the time that I'm recording this, and we're the 26th of November right now. It's not finished, but it's nearly there. We'll perhaps show you where we're up to in a minute or two. But I've done something slightly different, and I was interested to see, firstly, how people would react to them, and whether it was something that worked for me in support of a build diary, or whether it would detract from a build diary. So what I did is some little build updates. So little short videos that just at pointed time say, this is where we are with the build, this is what I've done, this is how it's gone together, and these are the things to watch out for. So typically they've been 10-15 minutes maybe. Just a very quick update. Some of them are even shorter than that. So I would really appreciate your view on whether the little build updates worked or not, given that we've also now in November started releasing the full build diaries as the Mosquito has finished. So what's your thoughts? Do the build updates work in a way of whetting the appetite for the build diary, or do they detract from the build diary and you get to the build diary and actually, you know what, we know what this looks like, I'll perhaps skip this and move on to something else. I'd like to understand what you guys think. For me, doing the build updates is very quick and simple. There's no editing at all. It's a simple record, plop it into my edit suite. You've got once you've done the first one and you've set up the front end and the back end of the video, you can leave that and just put different content in every time you record one. So they're quick and easy for me to do, which is one of the things that we're going to be focusing on next year, and we'll talk about that a little bit more later. So they're quick and easy to do. So and especially when it's a new release, like the Anson was that helpful, because I'm putting short little videos out, as many people might be starting to dig into the box and start their own build. So was it helpful? Was it interesting? Did you feel it wasn't something you wanted to watch, knowing that there was a full build diary coming? Let me know your views. For me, I enjoyed watching them, and from a viewer's point of view, those short videos attracted as many viewers as the larger videos do initially, but then the larger videos continue to build over time, whereas the shorter videos tend not to so much. And just in case you've missed all of those and you're a new subscriber and you're wondering what an Avro Anson is, this is where we're up to with it. The main paint is on, it's ready for varnish and decals and final construction. So and then a bit of weathering. You know, the main aircraft is white, so it needs a little bit of weathering to add a bit of interest, I think. So yeah, I'm happy with how that's going, and we've got something quite different because it's a nice little paint scheme that Airfix put in the box. So in December, sorry, there will be more of this coming. With the build diaries on a Saturday will be the Anson until it's done. I suspect it's going to be 4 in total, maybe 5, but I think probably 4. We'll just see how it goes. But yeah, totally enjoying building this. And if you've been umming and ahhing about the Anson, the amount of detail inside that you can see is astonishing, and it's gone together really well. It's a beautiful, lovely kit, and I don't recommend things as a general rule, because if I say, well, I recommend this, that means someone can come back and say, you recommended this and I thought it was rubbish. So I don't want to open myself up to this. So I'm not going to recommend it to you, but I am going to ask you why you've not bought one yet. If you've not got one, why have you not got one? For heaven's sake, get one. Anyway, enough silliness. In November, we also started doing a lot more shorts. Now, shorts are videos that you have to do either on your tablet or on your phone. It's not, you can create shorts by editing them, but then they become long shorts, and actually they don't turn up in the shorts streams on YouTube, so defeats the object a little bit. Now the thing about a short is they have to be portrait in format, not landscape like all of my other videos are. So basically what you do is you record them on a bit of footage on your phone. It's typically 16 seconds. That makes it a short. It has to be 16 seconds or less. You then add some music, you then add a comment, you upload it, job done. So I'm also interested to know what people thought of the shorts. They're very quick and easy to do, and you know, is the shorts a better way of doing a little update, or is the update a better way of doing the update? Would you prefer 10-minute video saying this is what we've done and why and look out for this, or do you prefer the shorts that just goes, actually, this is where we're up to with a bit of music. The interesting thing about shorts is actually not what you've recorded in terms of content, but the music you choose to put on it. So typically my shorts will do, let me just have a look. Let's take a look at a short and see what it did. Okay, so the one we did on the 17th of November, the Avro Anson Having Been Primed, got 459 views. Okay, so that I would say was an average view count for one of my shorts. Now a full build diary in the first month might not get more than 500 views. They build up over time. So interesting. The one that I released a couple of days later, the 19th, of the Avro Anson, it's 16 seconds long, and in the first 10 minutes had 3,000 views. And now we're at 3,372 views, so that's a week later. So the first 10 minutes was what everyone saw of that, and then it disappeared. So what's interesting is I chose a different tune for that. So rather than taking one of the recommended tunes, I took one of the tunes you can search for. And the tune used was a Metallica song. It was Enter Sandman, probably their most well-known popular song. Even non-Metallica fans tend to know that song. And I wonder if it's that got the 3,000 hits in the first 10 minutes. And when you look at the detail of how that worked, and it shows it goes straight up like a rocket and then totally flat. So just those first few minutes. Did I get any subscribers from it? No. So the only thing it's affecting is my viewer count, but 3,000 times 16 seconds doesn't add a lot. So I'm not sure if the shorts are worth it. They can be fun and they can be handy if you want to just keep people interested in what's going on and keep people tied in and make people aware of where you're up to. And that might be more important next year when we're perhaps changing the format up a little bit. And we'll talk about that in a minute. So let me know your views on the shorts. Are they a waste of time? Are they just an annoyance? Do you quite enjoy them? The 16 seconds, does it really matter? What's your thoughts? I'm interested to know if shorts is something I should be doing, I shouldn't be doing, or we're not bothered either way. So our first Saturday build was the continuation of the Mosquito. So that we were at, I think, video 4, weren't we? The first one. So I think we did 2. Yeah, that's right. We did 2 Mosquito builds in November. So that's been a very popular set of videos, and quite rightly so, because the kit is really, really nice. It goes together really well. There's some lovely innovation and engineering in it. It's the as a 172 kit, it's probably the one I've enjoyed building the most. Yeah, it just sort of slotted together. Painting it was a breeze, had lots of nice detail. There was enough in it for you to have some options on how you wanted to put it together. I just totally enjoyed it. And I think when Airfix release another version of it with different paint schemes, I'm likely to get it just because I enjoyed building it so much. So yeah, that was a proper joy. So that was our first Saturday build. Now, if you've not watched a Saturday build, they're at 9 o'clock UK time, and what we do is we do them as a premiere, and what that means is that as the video is running, people can watch the video and join live chat, and the live chat allows you to talk to other modelers and myself while the video is running. So you can ask specific questions, you can make comments on the kit or the build, and you can talk to other modelers. So, you know, find out how they're doing, what they're doing, and so on and so forth. Ask for help, ask for tips. You've got quite a big resource you can pull from, and quite a few of the people that are on there on a Saturday are fellow YouTube people as well. So they've got their own channels, and it's a good way of finding other people as well. So if you're free at 9 p.m. UK time on a Saturday, then it's always worth putting it on and having a look what's getting it. It means you're one of the first people to watch the video, and you get the bonus of talking to some of the channel friends. If you see people with their name in blue with a spanner, that means they're a moderator, and they can switch you off as well as talk to you, which on a Saturday isn't a big issue, but when I do live streams, it's really helpful because you can have quite a few people there, and the speed of the conversation can be such that I can't necessarily follow it all, particularly if I'm responding to someone. You might get several comments while you're writing. So having a few moderators around, that's why we do that. But Saturdays are a lot of fun. I really enjoy the Saturdays, and that is something we plan to continue during the course of the year. Everyone knows Saturday night, 9 p.m. UK time, that I've got something running with live chat, and it's always my build. So I do one build video a week, and it's always a Saturday. But that might change a little bit. But like I say, we'll talk in a minute. So then we had Meet the Creator. So our Meet the Creator was Mark from Montana. A really interesting channel, actually. Focuses on First World War, as he explains in that little video. So if you missed that video, it was out on the 7th of November. It's 9 minutes of the channel, Mark from Montana, introducing itself, what you'll find on the channel, and there's a few examples of his work on there, and he does some stunning work, but it's not all First World War. There's some modern stuff, whatever he fancies, and expose Mark to some of my subscribers, which is what we do it for. Now, Mark was one of the people that approached me and said, could I put myself on the list to do one of those videos? And yes, of course we can. So again, if you have a channel, if it's a startup channel, small channel, and you just want to expose what that channel does to a larger audience, you're quite welcome to drop me an email at modelkitstuff@gmail.com, and we can set that up for you. It's very, very easy. I send you an email with some questions, you record the answers, send it back to me, I do the rest. In December, we'll have another one coming up, and you know, the people that have already done it have managed to get a handful of new subscribers and get some new views. So for me, it's just a little way of giving back. You know, we all started with no subscribers, and how we get people watching our channel is by coming up with these little things that draw people in. And you know, for me, this is a modeling community. I think one or two people see it as a competition, and it was mentioned to me. In fact, it was Peter Oxley that mentioned competition between channels to me, and I simply don't see it like that. As I've said before, this is me recording me building my stash, and we do it in a slightly different format. It's like a modeler's magazine, and we look at new kits, and we do tips, and we do tools, because there's loads of people out there with a different variety of knowledge, experience and skill. So it's just a way of helping people out and building a community. And I'm really proud of the subscribers that I've got, because I do see them helping other people out and coming up with ideas. And when my videos run, they're not afraid to go, have you thought about this? So on the one we did for masking, for example, someone said instead of a cocktail stick you could use a darning needle. I thought, what a great idea. It's already got a rounded edge and it's a ready-made tool. So those sort of tips are really, really helpful. So thank you for that. But this is a community for me. This is a modeling community, fellow modelers, and I'm very happy to promote your channel. So I don't care how big your channel is, whether you've got 30,000 subscribers or 3 subscribers. If you'd like to do a Meet the Creator, and put it on my channel, there's always new subscribers out there who might not have come across you for whatever reason, then I'm welcome to do it. So like I say, drop me an email. We have more Meet the Creators coming. And if I have talked to you about doing a Meet the Creator and I have not yet sent you an email, please don't think that I have forgotten about you. I haven't forgotten about you. I simply haven't had time to do it. It's just managing time, and as I get closer to the time where I need that content, I will reach out to you. So there is a small number of you that I know I've spoken to and haven't yet had an email. So I promise you, you're not forgotten about. And while we're talking about other channels, let's talk about Rims Models. Now, I put a little video out. Friend of the channel, Rims Models, a channel that I follow, really like. One of my favourite channels actually on YouTube is Rims Models. Why? Because he's an excellent builder and he's excellent at the weathering. And we'd done, in fact, we did the very first Meet the Creator with Rob, and Rob was in November dipped his toe into doing premieres with the live chat. So he'd been talking to me about it, and you know, just been going through what you need to do to set it up and what have you, how it works, and some tips from me. And I thought, right, okay, he set a time when he's going to do it. So I then did a little video and said, right, everybody, Thursday night, Rims Models, go and have a look. I'll be there, I said. And then I completely forgot. So I have, Rob, again, I am sorry. I did intend to go there, but on that particular night, I had my youngest daughter with me, and it just left my mind. It's a sign of my age, I'm afraid. But I believe it was really successful. He's since then done a second one, again on a Thursday night, and I did manage to remember to join that one. So they're really good. It gave us, he's doing the Musing Hobby Ferdinand, sorry, is it the Ferdinand or the Elephant? I've forgotten which one it is. Almost the same thing anyway, isn't it? But it's a really nice kit. He puts it together really well. He's really honed his video presentation style over the last year or so, and it comes across really well. So if you've not seen one of his live premieres, then please try and catch one, because they are really good, really interesting, and you get to chat to some of the people that are quite often on my video as well, so the same sort of community. But yeah, it's a good little hour or so. First impression wise, the first plastic one we did was the ICM Leyland Retriever. It's a particular vehicle that I've always been drawn to. I think it's just a nice looking truck, isn't it? And I remember many years ago when I was in Malta and I was visiting the War Museum there in the capital Valletta, and they had one parked in the car park that was clearly there ready to be restored. It was in the sand colour with green underneath, and it was, you know, it was all worn paintwork and bits that were broken and bits that were missing. But clearly at that time Malta wasn't in the European Union, and they had a lot of very old British cars on the road. They didn't have MOTs. Clearly it was a vehicle that you could get in and drive if you were in Malta, perhaps not anywhere else. And it just looked lovely. And I've always had in the back of my mind doing a weathering project. So when I saw the ICM Leyland Retriever, it reminded me that I wanted to do that. So that's what we got that for. And it's a cracking little kit, which feeds nicely into model kit stuff, goes to Telford. Telford, it was nice to see Telford almost firing on all cylinders. It was still a smaller show than it's been in the past, and there was some obvious companies not there. Revell weren't there, and Eduard weren't there, which are two of the biggies that I'd always expect there. Airfix were there, and they were without doubt the busiest stand, but they didn't really have a big reveal. You know, even their at that point not released 124 scale Spitfire, it was on show, built up in 3 different ways, and the sprues were on show, but they weren't this is what's coming with anything. So even that seemed to be a little bit deflated in a way. There were lots of the Airfix guys there that you'll know from, if you watch the Sprue Talk videos, you'll have seen them all. A lot of those guys were there, and it was a very busy stand, and I think for Airfix a very successful couple of days, no doubt. But it was a great show. There was models there that I've definitely seen before, and as always some stuff I hadn't, and I quite enjoyed doing the video. Now I'm very conscious that there are people that watch my videos from all over the world, possibly never been to the UK, and inspired by Ron's The Model Ship videos, where he sometimes gets in a car and we get a journey across Winnipeg and to wherever he's going. I thought, well, you know what, we'll do the same. We'll give people a view of what it was like, and sure enough, I got a few comments about the road trip element at the start. But 2 things for me came out of that video. Firstly, it was the first proper, it's not the first time I've done it, but it's the first time I'd proper constructed a video with an intention of doing a voiceover. So I have done voiceover in the past, and I've been, whether I liked it or not, it's a different sound, so you get a different video experience. It's quite strange, but when I'm recording something and talking as I'm doing it, that comes across different on the video than when I'm doing a voiceover. And the reason is, when you're doing a voiceover, you're actually preparing what you're saying, whereas when I'm modeling and saying something, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, it's as it's happening, and it is a very different experience. But I thought it worked really, really well on the Telford video, and many of you agreed that that video came across in its format really, really well. So I will be doing more voiceover stuff, and we'll talk about that in a minute when we come to that Spitfire. But the Telford video has been really successful. I think it was probably the most watched Telford video for at least the first few days after the Telford show. So that's nice. That in itself is nice feedback to me that the video worked. Some of the photography I think could have been sharper. So myself and Daisy, we were doing it on our iPads, or I think Daisy was doing it on a phone actually. So I think next time what I'll do is I'll take my digital SLR and do some proper photography as well, so we get some crisper photos. But all in all, a nice show. I managed to buy another couple of kits, which you'll see in the fullness of time, and I bought some paintbrushes and I bought some glue, but the main thing was we had a good wander around, and I enjoyed myself, and that's what it's all about, surely. And I managed to meet Bob from Greybeards Models, and we had a bit of a chat at the Airfix stand. Though I was looking for Peter Oxley's tweed jacket, didn't spot him unfortunately, and 1 or 2 others of you that I was looking out for, but it's such a crowded room, and what you end up doing is you're looking at your feet and you're looking at what you want to look at, so you don't really get your head up So you're probably even walking right past people that you would recognize if you were looking what you were doing. But it was a great show. I enjoyed it. Daisy enjoyed coming along with me and videoing, so she's helped out another couple of times. So much so now she's helped out with a number of videos that she's asking what her cut is on the money that we generate from the video adverts. She's enjoying helping out and dipping in and out of that. So all good. So middle of the month we did a quick tip on how to make a wash from oil paints, and I did that very specifically. Well, what I often do when it comes to quick tips is I record them at the time that I'm doing them for myself anyway, and I was creating a wash for the ants, and so right, I'm creating a wash, let's just do a quick tips video. And the reason I did it is there's lots of people who just build a model and they don't do weathering, and almost scared of weathering. I've talked to people and know that this is a fact. There are people that, I've spent all this time on this model, I don't want to ruin it because I don't really know what I'm doing, and they're a bit wary of dipping their toe in there. So that's the point of the quick tips videos. They're not there to educate people that have been building models for 40 years and have done it all. They're there for people who are either new to the hobby or want to expand what they do within the hobby, or there's a lot of people that come back to the hobby once the kids have all grown up and they've got some time to fill. They go back to what they used to do as a kid that they enjoyed doing. And there's lots of those, and I get those comments regularly. People saying, just come back to the hobby after 40 years and blimey, hasn't it changed? And it has. So the point of making a quick wash for yourself is twofold. Firstly, you can save yourself an awful lot of money on buying lots and lots of products. And the great thing about buying products is they're ready to go. The not so great thing about buying lots of products is it costs you loads of money, and you end up buying loads of them because they're all slightly different colours. You can make this hobby really, really expensive. You've only got to look at how much stuff I've got. You can make it really, really expensive, but it doesn't have to be. It really doesn't. You can do it on a budget. The kit, the glue, the sprue cutters, a cutting mat, some emery boards, and the paint. That's it. That's all you need. And you can keep that as condensed as you like. It doesn't have to be a huge, I've got every tool and I've got 2,000 paints and I've got a stash of 200 kits. It doesn't have to be like that. And the point of showing you how to make your own wash was to get you to do the basics and show you how easy it is, because once you can make that wash, you can change that color, you can change the shade, you can add a bit of white, you can add a bit of red, you can add a bit of brown, you can change it around and come up with lots and lots of different effects with just a very small number of tubes that last you literally years and will do everything that a pre-bought wash will do, but at a fraction of the price. So that was the point of that, and it's something I've been doing for many, many years, and I still go back to. And why do I still go back to it? Because it's no more faffy. Yeah, you can get a Tamiya panel line, but they do what, 3 different colours, and the black one's a bit harsh for most things. The light grey one only really works on white or very pale colours. The brown one is probably my go-to of all of those, but you can't change the colour of that brown. So you don't have the flexibility with the bought products that you do if you make your own. So it was really just a process of showing you how to do that if you've never tried it. And I really hope that some people do dip their toes in and give it a whirl, because it's not difficult. And as long as you do it one step at a time, do your wash, make sure you've prepped your surfaces, you put a varnish down, then there is nothing that you do that you then can't undo. Okay, then we had first impressions of that Japanese ship, and they're always popular, the Japanese ships, and It's the Ashima Takeo, and I'm told I'm pronouncing it wrong, and that's probably right. Problem is, I'm dyslexic, so when I read words, the way I was taught to read words, breaking words up to read, means that I sometimes mispronounce things. And those of you that have been following the channel for a while know that I quite regularly mispronounce things, and that's because I can't quite read it in the way, or at least that's what I think. So yeah, I know I sometimes mispronounce things, but as long as you guys know what I'm actually saying, doesn't really matter, does it? Anyway, we did the first impressions on that 1:350 scale Imperial Japanese warship. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful kit. I really enjoyed doing that video, actually, because you get to get right up close to every little lump and bump on the plastic. So it's a nice way of getting to grips with the kit, and it's a beautiful kit. And they're not difficult to get hold of. A couple of people commented on how much aftermarket they could find and how many kits were knocking around on eBay. So as always with 1:350 scale, particularly Japanese kits, they're not cheap, but your payback on a model ship is bigger than it is on a truck or an airplane, to be quite honest. So actually, when it comes to spend pound per hour spent building, model ships are actually the cheapest models you can buy. There you go. Yeah, I'm waiting for the comments on that one. Okay, next thing that we did in November was the live stream around the new Tool Airfix 1:24 scale Spitfire. And I thoroughly enjoyed doing it, and Daisy enjoyed getting involved with moderating the chat, and I think many of you enjoyed being on there and seeing it up close live. Now, I actually think the live stream for the Spitfire went better than the Anson in terms of video quality. So what happens is YouTube decrease the quality to ensure that it doesn't buffer. And I think one or two people said, oh, I've lost sound or I've lost picture and things like that. Well, that's not coming from me. That's coming from YouTube and possibly your internet connection and the two combined. I'm not very techie, so I don't fully understand it all. But what I will say was we appeared to have better quality of imagery on the Airfix than we did on the Anson. So whether YouTube was having a better day, I don't know, because my setup was exactly the same, the equipment was the same, the lighting was the same, the time of day was even the same. So yeah, it went, the Airfix live stream went really, really well. It's had plenty of views since. So what happens when your live streams run, it then uploads itself, and you can go back and watch it, and then several hours later the live chat will go there. So if you've watched it and you wanted to see the live chat and you've missed the live chat, do go back, because it will be on there. Yeah, an hour and 45 minutes looking at that Airfix new tool, made in the UK, as we know, and the company that's making it is trying very, very hard to get that kit as perfect as possible. That being said, on the second video that I did, the up close video where we took some nice close photographs, I did manage to find some sync. You know, there isn't any such thing as a perfect kit. There really, really isn't. Obviously, the proof is in the building. We call it a first impressions for a reason. It is literally what's our first thoughts. But I really like the presentation of the kit. I really like the kit quality and the way the parts come together. And I know that people watching the video agreed. And I'm looking forward to building that at some point. We'll talk about builds a little bit later on. But yeah, a fantastic kit. And I'm really, really, really glad that I didn't buy into the Kotair one, because having looked at them at Telford, when you compared the two, the Kotair one has got less for more money. It's a smaller scale. It doesn't have an engine. It's got detail that you won't see where you won't see it. What's the point of that? It was sort of a cross between a Zukimura kit and a Revell kit. I was underwhelmed, and I know that I know more than one person that's actually cancelled their order having seen it at Telford. So you know what, I'm glad I bought into the Airfix kit, because for me the Airfix kit got it right. Everything that you want to be able to see, the engine, the gun base, you can see. In the cockpit they've added loads and loads of detail, more detail than you see, but they haven't needlessly put stuff in that you're never going to see. So for me, I'm sure the Kotex kit's going to be lovely and build up beautifully, but I think it's pre-sold a lot on the basis that some of the team came from Wingnut Wings. It's not Wingnut Wings, it's a different company. Yeah, I'd be interested to see what people think when they get their hands on the kit, but I won't be one of them. What else did we do in November? Quick tip on masking. So there is loads and loads of glazing on the Anson, and it just seemed the right point to show people who've perhaps not done it how I go about doing my own masking if I need to. So basically showed 3 different methods. They all have their merits depending on what they're doing. So if you missed that video and you're interested to know how to go around making your own paint masks for glazed areas on a model, then do go and dig that out. And that went up, what was it, the 21st of November that went up. And I basically show you 3 different methods and talk you through my little rules on masking, and I know 1 or 2 of you were quite grateful for that. Obviously there's not commercial mask sets available for the Anson, or there wasn't when I recorded that. There might be by now, I don't know. But yeah, it's not a difficult process. It's a little bit time consuming, but if you watch that video, for me that gives you everything you need to know to make your paint masks, and that's the way I've done it for years, to be honest. Then we ended the month on another Meet the Creator. I guess most of my subscribers probably know Oscale Modelling, long-time friend of the channel. We get on very well, and we've often shared thoughts on videos and model building and so on and so forth. A regular on the Saturday night premieres, and Peter is now doing his own live stream each week. So if you haven't caught up with Peter for a little while, it's worth bobbing back over to his channel and taking a look at what's going on. He's ventured out from ships into other genres, and he's proper caught the modelling bug. So it's definitely worth checking out his channel if you've not done so in a little while. Just go back and try and catch one of his live. I haven't caught one of his live streams, just the times that they run, but I am going to try and make time over the Christmas period when I'm not working so much. Yeah, so I have watched 1 or 2 of them after they've been live, and they're definitely worth catching up. If you've got the time, then go for it. And then we had the Verifier Missouri. That's ended the month for us. Cracking model, absolutely cracking model. And the way Verifier seem to be approaching it is, here's the basic kit, and we're doing it cheaper than a lot of people do, and here's the aftermarket PhotoX should you want it, and that's really, really expensive, but it's to our usual standard. So for me, I bought the kit out of interest because I've bought Verifier upgrade sets before, and they are superb. They are they're Pontos quality. In fact, I think they're slightly better than Pontos, but anyway. But they are a little bit pricey, but they are big, full, comprehensive sets. I'll probably be showing you one soon, which is the one for the Merit Arc Royal, which I think is now rebranded at I Love Kit. I think it's all the same company anyway. It's all Trumpeter effectively. But yeah, I've got their upgrade set for that, and it's a thing of beauty. So probably going to show you that at some point in be next year now. So I bought the plastic kit on the basis that, well, their detail sets are really, really good. So what's the detail going to be like on the plastic kit? And it didn't disappoint. It's a really, really nice kit. And I don't have many American ships. It's not something, I suppose, living in the UK and growing up with my grandfather being in the Royal Navy, my focus has always been the European theatre, the Battle of the Atlantic when it comes to ships, or the Mediterranean, and less the Pacific. But as my interest in Japanese ships has grown, that sort of dragged me into American ships. So American ships are probably built the least of. But the Missouri in its Second World War guise, it's a really nice ship, and a really nice model of it. So I was really pleased with that purchase, to be honest. So that pretty much covers off November, which was a busy month in more ways than one. The kitchen got decorated, so actually from a modelling point of view, in November I was out of action for a couple of days again. But the kitchen's nearly finished now. We've just got blinds left to do, and so it should be done for Christmas. We agreed what blinds we were getting last night, so all good. And I bought a new car, so that was a weekend of faffing around, because rather than buying a car locally, I went and bought a car locally to my dad. So it was an hour and a half away, and I had to go and pick that up, and picked it up on a Friday night, and then was stuck in Friday night traffic trying to get back in a car I wasn't familiar with. And then it decided to bucket down with rain, and oh lordy, that was an interesting weekend, but a lot less modelling. So one way or another, with Telford and picking up a new car and decorating, I've not been very productive in November, and that might have a little bit of an impact on December. We will see, but as you know from a couple of catch-ups ago, we now have this more relaxed way of doing it. If we don't get a video out on time and we don't do a video, we don't do a video. It's not the end of the world. It's a hobby at the end of the day. So let's talk about what is coming in December. And the first thing I want to say is December also means I get a Christmas holiday, which means I get some extra modelling time. And I might be able to find a little bit more time around my working week in the run-up towards Christmas. So I'm hoping that I'm going to get more done on the bench, which means we're going to go into the new year with more content recorded, ready to put it together and get it out there. And I'm also going to dig out some old stuff that you guys have never seen. So previously I have put, before I had a channel, I have put stuff on one or two of the modelling forums. I don't visit any of them anymore. Simply don't have time, and I got really fed up of all the trolls and the people who know better. And you know what, it's modelling forums for me, it's not a nice experience. And it's the same with Facebook. I don't really do Facebook in terms of modelling for the same reason. But I don't go onto Facebook very often at all, perhaps once a week. But I don't follow modelling forums, and in fact I've purposely disconnected myself from almost all of the ones that I used to follow, because of the way people go around commenting and feeling it's okay to bully people and behave. Don't like it, don't want to be part of it. So it's a shame, but it is what it is. And that's why I don't do modelling forums anymore. But I have got content, previous models that I've built, where I've taken loads of photographs and stuff, and some of those I've still got. So I am thinking of digging some of those out, seeing what it looks like if we put it all together and do some voiceover, and we might get one or two build videos, standalone build videos, where we do one video completes the kit. So in there is hopefully the Airfix 148 Silver Wings Walrus, which is such a lovely build, such a nice kit. In fact, before the Anson, that was my favourite 148 scale build. It's such a lovely model. So I've got that in there. I have a Shelf Queen, which is the 1/200 scale Mikasa in its 1902 guys. So black hull, white upperworks, yellow funnels, proper Victorian looking ship. And obviously the IGN Mikasa is a British ship built in Britain, based on a British battleship design of the time. And as battleships go, it's tiny, so even in 1/200 scale, it's shorter than a lot of 1/350 scale kits are. So it doesn't take up a lot of space. So if you've ever fancied building a 1/200 scale ship just because of the scale, but you worry about the size, the Mikasa is definitely the way to go. So that's a Shelf Queen, and I've got all the footage for that. So we might do that at some point next year, and then go and finish the build. It's a possibility. So I'm going to dig out what I've got, see what I've got, and see what extra content I can put together. So that's one of the things that I might be doing over the Christmas period, over December. But what I want to try and do is catch up. So let's talk about builds and the running order. So in December, we will finish the Anson. I will finish building it, even if you don't finish seeing the builds, but I suspect you will, because as you know, rather than doing a different video every 3 weeks on a rotation, I'm just focusing on a build, getting it done out of the way. I said I was clearing the decks, and that's still what I'm doing. So when I finish the Anson, we're going back to the Tiger, and we're going to finish the Tiger, and I will build nothing but that Tiger and the diorama that goes with it, Gavin's figures, and so on and so forth. So once the Anson build diary is finished, we're on Tiger, and that's what you'll see. And I'm hoping in December to finish that build as well. You won't, as far as you guys are concerned in terms of video content, those videos will go on into January, but I'm determined to try and finish that in December. It might be a close run thing, it might end up going into January, but with the holidays and stuff, it's definitely possible, because all I've got really left is paint the tank and weather it, finish the weathering of the buildings, glue it all together, weather the diorama base, put the figures on. Doesn't sound much really, does it? So I'm hoping we can get that done in December. Then after that, I'm going to finish the Chipmunk, which is almost there. There's only the engine stuff to put together, but that's the bit that doesn't fit and doesn't work very well. And I took a bit of a break because I wasn't enjoying the build, but it's nearly finished. So that we will finish building in January, and then once the Tiger videos are finished, you'll see the Chipmunk. I think we've only had one build diary on the Chipmunk already, so I can't imagine there will be more than one video to finish that process. So when the Chipmunk is finished, because that's a quick build to get it out of the way, we're going to go back to the Queen Mary 2. And we're just going to do Queen Mary 2 till it's finished. I'm going to change the style of the build diaries a little bit. Stephen will still be involved, and we will finish that off. But there's a lot of repetitive work that we need to get through. So how I put those videos together is going to change a little bit so that we can get through the videos just that little bit quicker. But in terms of the build, we'll just do that, and we'll do nothing else until that is done. When the Queen Mary 2 is finished, then we're going to do the Wingnut Wings Gota, which we've not started yet, so that'll be complete fresh. I imagine we're probably in March by that time. Then we'll do the Gota, and then when that's finished, I'm ready to do something that's not a ship and not an aeroplane. So we'll be doing some form of vehicle. Not sure what vehicle that will be. Got loads of vehicles to do. There's the German fire engine I quite fancy doing. I've got this. I've got this that I quite fancy doing, and I've got one or two other things. I've got a little Hetzer that I quite fancy doing, and I've got the Leyland truck. So I don't know what it'll be, but it'll definitely be something with wheels. It could even be a tank. I've got an amusing hobby kit that I'm quite eager to get into, or the Airfix 38T. I don't know. Anyway, once that's done, I intend to go back to my Arizona and finish my Arizona. So you can see the pattern. We'll have almost cleared the decks by that point. The only thing outstanding will be the Warspite, and we'll talk about that in a sec, and flying, we'll talk about that in a sec. So that's sort of the plan. That gets me out of my main builds into the new stuff, get the Arizona done, focus just on the Arizona. Now, I say focus just on the Arizona. There is times when I look at a kit and I go, I just do not want to build that today. And I think we all have that. So I can't promise that I won't chuck a little 172 Hurricane in there occasionally and stuff, but it'll be what it'll be. So that's sort of the running order of what we're building. And in December, like I say, I want to try and get the back broken, if not finished, on the Tiger, and the Chipmunk out of the way. Now, I do have a half-built Ghost of Kiev fighter. It's built up pretty much, ready for painting, and recently, last couple of weeks, I've got the ICM set of paints for that. Now, I saw ICM paints at Telford. I've not tried their paints before, so we might squeeze that in somewhere as well. I've got a lot of content recorded for that, but we haven't done it as a video diary at all. So I've got that to finish off at some point as well. So I've got some holiday time in February, so that might be some extras, and we'll talk about format for next year in a minute. Now, as a lot of you know, I parked the Warspite last year because I had a little accident with it, and the stern gallery photo etch got trashed. And for me, it's a bit like the Lysander. If something goes wrong, I sort of end up parking it. And sometimes I come back to it and sometimes I don't. But while I was at Telford, I was having a chat with Richard Harden of White Ensign Models / Tom's Model Works. And what he was saying was that he has a drawer full of bits of photo etch, stuff that he couldn't possibly sell, where stuff got damaged and there's bits on there. So I'm going to drop him an email, and he's going to have a look and see if he's got a Warspite gallery at all, because he has a Warspite etch fret. So if he has, we'll come to some arrangement for me to get my my hands on it, and then we can complete the Warspite. So I'd like to think that during the course of next year, we'll have a combination of finishing builds that we've started on the channel, and also some new stuff. And what that's going to be, I don't know. Just see how we feel as we go. But I'd like to hope we can get a stern gallery. So we'll see what Richard comes up with. What I know we will be doing in the course of December is videoing some more first impressions ready for next year. Now, usually at this point I say ready for the month after, but there's not a guarantee of that anymore, because we're going to change the format. Well, let's talk about what we're going to record. Then we're going to talk about the model kit stuff format for next year, because I do feel like I need to change it, tweak it just a little bit, just to help me with my time again. So those of you that were around last year remember that I did an Airfix Focke-Wulf starter set as a Christmas build last year, and it was quite an enjoyable little build, and we actually had those builds sharing on the run up to Christmas, so that you could buy that starter set for someone and say, hey, go and watch that video and they'll show you how to build it as well. And that was quite successful. It worked quite well, actually. This year, I'm also going to do a Christmas build, but not in the same way. You'll remember that during the course of this year, we put out a Just for Fun build on the Stiletto, and it was all music and no talking, because we'd recorded it over Christmas when it was too noisy to actually talk and record. So I'm going to do another one of those, and it's going to be this, which is one of the new style starter sets from Airfix. It's a cracking little kit. Now, the thing about the new style starter sets is they're simplified. They're designed to be simplified. The part count is really low, but dimensionally, it's perfect. It's absolutely spot on, and the detail is spot on. The surface details on there, the panel lines are on there. So a bit like what I did with the Mary Rose starter kit, where I said, right, let's take it to the next level and just see what we can squeeze out of it. I want to do the same with this. So I want to build the starter set, and I want to weather it, and fuel stains and chipping, and see what we can get out of a 172 starter set Spitfire. So it'll all be about the painting this, because the build time will be next to nothing. Yeah, looking forward to it. So the thing is, what I'll be able to do is I'll be able to record this. It can be as noisy as it likes, and I'm not going to bother. And then when I'm up in the mornings before everybody else, I can record some voiceover to it. So that's the plan. This will be a voiceover one. Now, I'm not sure when it'll be shown. It won't necessarily come out over the Christmas period, but it's a way of me getting stuff done that I can't ordinarily do because of the noise. And we might do that with the Tiger as well. We might be recording stuff and then doing some voiceover in that video to get around the fact that a lot of the time I'll have will be noisy time, when we've got kids coming in and out and the kettle on and what have you. So that's the plan. If I can't get to anything else, if there's paint drying on the Tiger, I can pick this up and chuck away a little bit of this. So that I will be recording over December. Well, at least that's the plan. So Airfix starter kit, looking forward to it. Should be a lot of fun. So these other kits are all kits that I'm going to record as first impressions during December. So this clearly is a wooden kit. And we haven't done this brand on the channel before. This is Minuta. They're an Italian company, and we'll be having a look at this kit. Now, I bought this used, though not started off eBay, and what drew me to this kit was I got it for 20 quid. It was an utter bargain. In fact, it was robbery is what it was. But yeah, so we're going to have a look at this kit. I've had this in my stash for a few years now, and I did have a look at it at the time, but I can't remember at all what it's like. So I'm looking forward to delving back into this. So we're going to record that as a first impressions. So yeah, I'm actually looking forward to that. This was a stash ad this year, so I thought it'd be nice to have a look in there. This is a full interior kit. So how much interior you actually see when it's buttoned up, I don't know. So I'll be interested to see when we go through this what the options are for leaving things open and visible. But First World War era is something that I think is growing as a genre in the modelling world. There's our First World War special interest group now, and so on and so forth. And it's appealing to me more and more. I guess you've done World War II to death, so you go outside of that. So yeah, quite interesting. So This is the 1918 pattern, full interior from Mini Art. So we'll be doing a first impressions of that during December. And I should be getting, those of you that saw the Telford video, right at the end there was my little star of the show, which turns out to have been an ICM kit that Revell have re-released as well. There's some connection between the two, I'm not quite sure. But I've got the Revell version, and I can't remember whether I got the one with figures or not, but that's on order currently, so I should get that in a few days' time. So I've got a couple of World War I vehicles now that I can look at. So looking forward to recording that. That's bound to be a lovely kit. And we're also going to have a look at this. It's the Imperial Japanese Navy Light Cruiser Makuma in 1:350 scale from Tamiya. And I know this is going to be a popular video because it's Tamiya. Yeah, we're going to have a look at that. It's going to be similar in some ways to the Mogami, but in other ways it's going to be different. The Mogami, obviously, the one that I did was the aircraft tender version after she'd been converted after being heavily damaged, whereas this is more like the early Makuma, but you've got, you know, you've got 5 main guns, you've got sweeping funnels, and so on and so forth. So it will be interesting to take a look at this kit and visit another Tamiya kit. I don't have any specific aftermarket for this, but I've got in my tray of photo etch, I've got things like generic doors and Imperial Japanese railings and stuff that we'll be able to use on it when we come to build it. Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. Tamiya kits are nice, if not a little bit simplified. Be interesting to see if we've got the usual complaints about Tamiya kits in there. So yeah, looking forward to filming that as well, because I do like my IGN kits. Okay, let's talk about the year ahead with model kit stuff and 1 or 2 little tweaks that we're going to make. As you'll know, a couple of months ago I said that the workload was starting to get to that point where it was detracting from the fun of doing the hobby. And I got lots and lots of people supporting what I was saying and basically saying, look, it's your hobby, it should be fun, concentrate on what's fun. And what we basically did is said, well, actually, I quite like the structure, so I want to keep the structure, but if I can't get videos out in time, I'm not going to worry about it. And that just mentally took all the pressure off. And that was a great thing that I did. And as it happens, I've been able to maintain the structure. Now, I work in quite a structured way. Not just in modelling, but in everything. I like structure and a plan and what have you. And you can't beat a good spreadsheet for organising yourself. So that's just the way I work. But what's happening in 2023 is some things have to change, because I can no longer continue to put out those videos as regular as I did. And I'm not talking about builds, I'm talking about first impressions. So for the last 2 years, there's been a first impressions video every week. And those first impressions videos have been focused on stuff that's in my stash. It's basically me going through my stash, 1 kit at a time, having a proper good close look at it. Well, that can't go on forever. Even though my stash is larger than it perhaps should be, it's not bottomless, it's not endless. So obviously we're going to continue to do first impressions videos, but I don't have the volume to be able to do 1 a week throughout 2023. So they're going to start getting spaced out a little bit and become a bit more as they happen. So as I get something and add it to the stash, then we'll do a first impressions video. So everyone knows from last year that in January, when Airfix released their catalogue, we will go and have a look at it, and we will go, I'll probably do it on video again like I did last year, and we'll go shopping. I'll put a load of stuff on pre-order. So there will be more kits coming next year, and I still have some kits to record, and I've got, you know, I could do one a week until May currently, or possibly June, and we've got one or two. I got a couple at Telford, and I know I've got one coming, so you know it adds up a little bit. So we will be doing first impressions, but we won't necessarily be doing a first impressions every week in 2023, and that's partly why I've been messing around with doing build updates and doing shorts, because I don't have enough tools to do a tool video or a quick tip every week. So those are also going to reduce in volume, and they're going to come up as and when. So when there's a new tool, or when I'm using a tool that I haven't used for a while or something, I'll do a video on it, and we'll talk about it, and then we'll put it up there. If I'm doing something and I've not done that for a while, and I've not talked about how you go about doing it, we'll do a quick tips video. So these things will happen, but the regularity of it, Monday is quick tips, or meet the creator, or tool review, or product review. It's not definitely going to be that. It's not definite that there'll be a video on Monday. Same with Wednesday. It's not definite that there'll be a video, and if there is a video, it's not definite that it's going to be first impressions, because we always do them on a Wednesday. So that's what's going to change next year. Now, I don't want to reduce the amount of content that's coming out, but the content has to work for me. I'm not going to start buying kits just for the sakes of doing first impressions videos. That makes no sense with the current cost of everything anyway. And, you know, I've got a stash that I'm trying to reduce, really. And if I continue to buy kits quicker than I build kits, I'm not reducing my stash. So what I want to do is a concerted effort on building stuff next year. So focusing my time on building, so you'll get more build updates. We'll still keep the Saturday live, because I really enjoy that. Everyone knows where we are with that. So we'll still aim at Saturday live, but what happens in the week could be a first impressions, could be a quick tip, could be a build update, could be a stash reorganized short. Just don't know. So I still intend to have more than one video going out a week. I'm just not going to have a definite structure on what that should be. And I think that's going to keep me guessing. It's probably going to keep you guessing as well. So that might even be a good thing. I don't know. But yeah, I enjoy doing this, as you know. In fact, I love doing this. I love doing the videos as much as I love doing the modeling now, which is interesting, isn't it? So there's loads and loads and loads of content to come. That's why I'm saying that the Queen Mary 2 format will be different, because we'll do some little update videos on it and then do the big build, but we won't have to show all the detail because we'll have done some updates. So what you will see is more short build updates in the week, interspersed amongst one or two of these other things. So what it means is I can continue recording first impressions videos and bank them rather than use them all straight up the following month. So I'm recording these 3, and if I get time, I might record some more, and then I've got videos ready to go that just need editing. So that will get me ahead on pre-recorded stuff, so I can then focus on building things. So I suspect that 2023 is going to be more build focused than we've been the previous 2 years. In terms of what that does to my subscriber count, it'll be what it'll be. I never expected to get 4,000 subscribers, so I'm not going to worry if my subscriber count rate reduces. This isn't about how many subscribers can I get. It's not about how good a channel can I create. It's about my hobby and me sharing what I do, because people are interested, people are nosy, and people pick up good stuff. So it's all about sharing stuff in the community. And you might see a kit that oh yeah, actually I quite like that, now I've seen it built, I'm going to go and buy it. Or actually, now I've seen that built, I'm not going to buy it. I get comments for both of those reasons when people see my first impressions or my builds or whatever. So there's loads of stuff coming in 2023. There'll be more trips out, there'll be more builds coming, and there should be some stuff that we've not seen before. So we're going to build the Gotha. I've not done World War I aircraft rigging on the channel before, so that'll be new to everybody in 2023. We'll be finishing a 1-200 ship, the Arizona. We've not finished a 1-200 ship on here before. I have first impressions to do on the HMS Hood 1-200 scale, so that's a big kit. I've got a Dean's Marines kit that we're going to do a first impressions of in 2023. So that's a radio control ship, huge ship. It's the largest model I've got. It's massive. It's a big American hospital ship. So that'll be interesting. Something totally different yet again. And we're going to be building lots of aircraft, because I've got lots of aircraft. Are we going to do the 124 scale Spitfire? I don't know. We might not. I've got a Vulcan that I want to build. I've got some 132 kits that I want to build. Who knows? I don't know what's coming. What I know is there's going to be lots of variety, and it's going to be lots of fun. And I'm hoping that you guys will carry on coming along for the journey. I've really enjoyed 2022 from a hobby point of view. It's been a really difficult year for many people, and I'm thinking about those poor people in Ukraine. We're all experiencing increased prices, but at least my water's running and my electricity's okay, and I don't have to worry about where my family is. So at this time, at the end of the year, I'm just sparing a thought for those people in Ukraine, and you guys now fund this by watching the video. So the more people that watch the videos, the more money is generated from my adverts. It keeps my channel free, keeps your fun high, and keeps this all being funded. So that means that come January, I can pretty much do all the pre-orders that I want from Airfix. So I'm looking forward to that. You guys, thank you very much for 2022. Thank you much for being subscribers and all your kind words and all your support. And a big thank you to those of you who are my moderators for the support over the year on the Saturday videos. I've massively enjoyed it, and I've massively enjoyed it in no small part because of you lot. So big thanks. You take care. Enjoy the holiday season. And I will be back talking to you again at the start of January. So when we can all discuss our diets and what have you. Until then, have a lot of fun. Find a load of time for your modelling, and I will see you very soon. Bye for now.